What is going on live? It's your boy Billy Rowe. Today is Wednesday, so you know what time it is. It's time for your Wednesday word. That's Wednesday word. Jumping straight into it. Today's topic or today's title is make space. So, as always, I like to tell you what I mean by my topics. So, when I say make space, it's kind of a little bit of a deceiving title because what I'm really talking about is about our time. Um, the reason why I chose make space is because time is a boundary that we don't have the ability to move. At least currently, we don't have the ability to move. You get 24 hours in every day. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, the moon comes up, the moon goes down. So we're in those confines of the construct of time. However, in our time that we have, in the 24 hours that we have that we're given, we do have the ability to make space. And in making that space, what we're doing is we are freeing up the time, the time that we have within our 24 hours. So today, what I'm going to be talking to you about is 4 different tools that I utilize in order to make space in my life so that I have the ability to have the time that I need or want in order to do the things that I really want to do. So jumping straight into the first thing when it comes to making space, when it comes to making space is that the first thing you have to do is remove your clutter. Our time is encumbered by countless things, and some of those things we have to do. Things like go to the bathroom, things like eat. If you're driving to work, if your work is not at your house, things like commute, those things are kind of built into our time construct. The thing is that there are things that we do that we don't necessarily have to do in our day. Things like playing games on your cell phone or scrolling through social media, or just having too many chit chat phone calls with people that you may want to talk to them, but depending on what you have set out for that day, it may not be the right time to talk to them. There's been countless times in my days, because I'm doing so much on YouTube and I'm doing things on social media and I have a full-time job and I'm a full-time father. All these different things pull on my time. So there's been times where people have called me and I will answer and say, hey, I'm not available today. What I'm doing is I'm letting them know that they're important to me so I can make some space to let them know they're important, but I can't give them the space to take up 30 minutes to an hour of my time talking at that point. So that's the first thing you got to do, is you got to be able to realize what is the clutter in your life. And I don't mean necessarily like, you walk into your garage and you're like, I need to get rid of this chair or this mattress or this bike or whatever it may be. I'm talking about those things in your life that you give your time to that are not necessarily allowing you or leaving you a net balance of time to accomplish the things that you really want to accomplish in life. So again, the first thing is we got to clear the clutter out the way. So once you clear the clutter out the way, you have inevitably made space. You have freed up time to start reallocating. So here's the thing, though, is that once you free up that time, people are going to want to start filling it. So the second thing that the second tool that I recommend you utilize and that I use is learning to say no. I had the benefit of, while I was on social media yesterday, I caught a clip of a young lady's Instagram story and our Instagram TV. I can't remember what it was, but she was sharing that, saying no is an act of self-love. Saying no to somebody else's desire to utilize your time is an act of love. And then she said, you don't even have to explain yourself about it. Like, no, because I said so. Now, if you want, you can spend some time explaining, but realize if you're spending that time trying to explain why you're saying no, then you're inevitably still giving time to that person that you may not want to allocate to them. So the second thing is learning how to say no. That is like the first thing you can do. But what no does is it allows you to really prioritize what you want to participate in. So if I know, let's say right now I don't watch football for my own reasons. So let's say somebody says, hey, Billy, I want you to come over on Sunday night or Sunday and watch the football games with me. Now that's hours of TV time that I would be spending in front of a TV watching football games that I don't even want to watch. So me saying no allows me to protect who I want to be, number one, but it also allows me to protect my time. I spend Sunday as my relaxed time, kind of decompress and get ready for the next week so I can make sure my content is ready for the next week, make sure that I'm ready for the next week, make sure my health is good, make sure my laundry is done, and all the things that I need to make sure that are complete in my life so that my space is not encumbered and cluttered. So that's the second tool that I would recommend using, is learning to say no. It's hard, but I promise once you practice it, you start to feel less guilty about saying no. Like, people will call you and say, "Can you help me move?" No, I can't do that. And leave it at that. It's not necessary to explain, because honestly, any explanation you give is more than likely going to be received as an excuse. "Oh, I can't help you move because I hurt my shoulder." Oh, that's an excuse. I see you at the gym working out all the time. "Oh, I can't help you move because I promised somebody else that I was going to meet them for a workout session or to help them with some decorating," whatever it may be. It's going to sound like an excuse. So save yourself the time and just learn to say no and leave it at no. Now, if they want to ask, just say, "Because it doesn't fit with my time constraint. It doesn't fit with my time constraints," and leave it at that. The third thing is, the third tool is learning to focus your energy in the areas in which you have control. There's a term that people use sometimes called a worry wart, meaning that you worry about every little thing. Am I going to wake up on time? And am I going to be late to the location that I'm trying to get to? And all these different things that you can worry about over time, that really are things that are outside of your control. If you set your alarm, and this used to plague me, but if you set your alarm and it goes off on time and you get out of bed when it goes off, then you set yourself up for success to get out of the house on time. Now, you might pull out of your driveway and run into a car accident that has the road blocked for 3 hours. There was actually one time where I was going to walk a client in for an interview when I was doing IT recruiting. The interview location was literally about 10 minutes away from my office. I left 30 minutes early, 3 times the amount of time that it takes to get there. I go 1 mile, get past the exit that I can get off on, to take a detour route, and run into an accident. There is a diesel that has flipped over and has crossed across all the lanes on the freeway. So I had to sit on the freeway for 3 hours. Obviously, I didn't make it to the interview to walk the client in, but I used my phone to call, couldn't get in touch with the person, but that was all that I could do. I can't off-road my car and try to get to this interview to walk this person in. So focus your energy, focus your efforts on the areas that you can control. And when you focus your efforts on those, you will actually get better at problem solving, and just through proxy, because you're only focused on what you can contribute to the solution. So that is another key area that allows you to make space. Also, what it allows you to do is it allows you to remove yourself from that complaining mentality. Like, "Oh, well, this is happening and that's happening." And, all these complaints that you can put in, it allows you to remove yourself from that complaint pattern and move yourself into that solution pattern. So I can go to the doctor and tell the doctor, "Oh, my shoulder hurts." And then he says, "Well, when does it hurt?" "Well, it hurts. It hurts. It's just painful." These are complaints, but they are not enough information for the doctor to make an assessment on what could possibly be wrong with your shoulder. So they do litmus testing. They say, "Well, move your arm up this way, move your arm that way," do all these different things to help assess what the possible issue is so that they can begin to work on giving you a solution. So again, learning to focus your energy in the areas that you are able to control, or areas that you are able to contribute to, because it may not be an area that you control, but at least you can contribute to it, will allow you to better assess what needs to happen in order to provide a solution. One of my favorite books, one of my favorite books that I like to read, and I read it kind of frequently and look at different parts of it, is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 3 talks about putting first things first. Another way of putting that is, don't let what matters the most be at the mercy of what matters the least. Sometimes it's like, hey, what matters the most is that we're healthy. What matters the most is that, you know, we have the finances to pay our bills. Those are the things that kind of matter the most. What matters most is our family and the connections that we have with people. Those things matter the most. But don't let, you know, well, the little things that may come up. Oh, well, I don't like the way you said this, or I don't like how things are moving in whatever situation, move you from what your priority is. And in this particular case, your priority is your time. It is your most valuable resource. They are not making more of it. You're not getting more of it. Every day you're spending your time doing hopefully the things that matter the most to you, and less of the things that matter the least to you. If there's time that's extra left over in the 24 hours, either rest and rejuvenate yourself, or maybe you can do one or two of those little things that are just would like to do things. Lastly, the fourth habit, or not, sorry, fourth habit, the fourth tool that I would recommend using is losing the mentality of squeezing more in. We live in a world where we're trying to multitask so many different things. And I'm actually getting ready to have an conversation after this with a young man who has a podcast called WDK Yet. We Don't Know Yet. And that in that podcast, I was fortunate to listen to one of his episodes on deep work. And deep work talks about removing ourselves from constantly trying to multitask and giving, excuse my French, but half butt attention to all these different tasks. It's called being a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Take time to deeply focus on one thing, tuning out other things so that you can dive in deeper to whatever that one thing is. So you got to learn how to stop trying to squeeze everything in. A lot of people actually have a bad habit of overcommitting themselves to things that they know either they don't have the time to do or that they can't do. Look, if my kids have a birthday party to go to on Saturday and there's 3 of them and they're all at the same time, I have to make a decision on which one I'm going to go to. Would I like to be at all of them? If they're people I love and care about, absolutely. But the reality is I can only be at one of them at a time. Or I could send one kid to each party, but how are they going to get there? Somebody's going to be late. So it's about not trying to squeeze as much as you can into something. It's almost like if you had a closet full of clothes. You know, you have all these different outfits from the past 20 years. There's clothes in that closet that you're not going to wear again. Purge, get rid of them, move them out, because what you're doing is you're making space for new clothes, or you're making space for the current clothes so that they're more spread out. There's clothes that you may not be able to fit. And you're like, well, one day I'm going to get back into whatever it may be. Well, by the time we typically get back into those clothes, they're either out of fashion, out of style, or the moths have eaten them. So the reality is you need to purge. Now, here's what happens is we pack our closet full and tight of clothes, and then we go out to the store and we see something that we want that we would actually use, and we don't buy it. Why? Because we don't have the space. We don't have the space in our closet to add another article of clothing. So we leave that clothing there and we say we have enough clothes, not really realizing that some of the clothes in the closet, they're not useful to us. They're not clothes that we're going to utilize. We can get better use out of them, donating them or repurposing them for other needs. So that's the 4 tools. I always like to share a story with you in regards to my experience with this. And I think the story that came to mind, there were 2 stories that came to mind, but the one that kind of resonated with me the most was when I first moved here to Utah. I like going to the gym and I like working out. And while I was at this gym that I work out at currently, I met a young man who was very cordial, very nice. He was like, hey, you know, I work with these business professionals and they're independent and they're independently wealthy. And, you know, we're looking for people that are outgoing, blah, 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 all these different things. Hey, cool. I'm always willing to hear an opportunity, but I'm willing to hear an opportunity when I am in a space to accept an opportunity or to be able to hear that opportunity and logically apply if I want to be able to commit my time to that opportunity. And so I gave the man my number, but I said, hey, look, you know, I'm a little bit busy. I'm kind of back and forth between Utah and California right now, but reach out to me. The guy reaches out to me. Unfortunately, when he reached out to me, I was sick. I didn't feel well. I mean, like I was coming home having the chills, barely making it to work, putting everything I had there, not eating, and I didn't feel well. And so I was trying to get better because for me, the priority was in a couple of weeks, I'm going to California to visit my sons. And I don't want to be sick when I get there because I'm trying to do too much in this time that I'm sick here. So my goal was to get healthy, to get better. And one of the things when you start making space and start really putting a priority and a value and a premium on your time, people are going to try to guilt trip you in to allowing them into that space. So I get a text message from this person saying, hey, I've called you. I sent you a text and I haven't really heard from you. Well, nobody has heard from me. So he goes on and he's like, we're really big on accountability. If you're not going to respond, you have this amount of time to respond. And if you're not going to respond, then at that point, we're just going to cut our ties here. Yeah, I'm still focused on getting healthy and better. So I didn't even respond. I was like, hey, got to do what you got to do. I understand you're making space for your time, but your priority or your emergency to make space for your time doesn't impede on my priority to make space for my time and the things that are important to me. So when I did get better, I didn't want to be rude. I did message him back and said, hey, look, I was sick. I was trying to get ready for going to California to visit my sons. I apologize that I didn't get back to you in a timely manner. But here's the thing. If your primary goal and focus is a monetary gain thing with me, it would probably be best if you delete my number. Why? Because my time comes at a premium. And that's what making space is about, is placing a premium on your time so that you can remove the clutter things, the things that are cluttering your time, cluttering your mental capacity, cluttering your ability to strive for the success that you want. And then turn around after you remove that clutter, start filling your space with organization that start filling your space in an organized manner so that you can start putting those things that you really want to achieve, whether it's travel, whether it's marriage, whether it's kids, whether it's financial, whatever it may be, whether it is graduating from college, whatever it may be, you can start putting your time and energy into those things so that you can become the best you that you can be without having to worry about being overwhelmed because you're overbooked. So that's about my time for today. I want to go ahead and get ready for this intersation that's getting ready to take place. If you like this video, please do me a favor. If you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Make sure you click the like button. Spread the word. Share this channel. The first row is a play on words with my last name. But I want you guys to feel like this is your content. This is your channel. I really want you guys to start taking ownership and getting the word out there and start providing what type of stories and what type of things you either want to hear my perspective on or you want me to bring a guest on to talk about. I'm open either way. But other than that, again, if you like this video, share it. If you share this video, please like it. I'm happy to engage with you in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you guys in about 12 minutes at the interstation. If you want to come in and join the live show, that live show will be based on figuring out life as you go. Kind of a contradictory to the Wednesday word I did about building to a blueprint, but I'm really excited about this show and I think you guys will definitely grow. I expect to grow from it. So I hope you guys join us for that show. That will be starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I look forward to engaging with you guys in the comments below. But until then, I'll see you guys soon. One love, peace, and God bless.